In my artificial intelligence class in the fall, I taught a computer how to play the game Othello. Not only did I teach it how to play, I taught it to play well, and it could be any student in my class. And the funny thing is, I've only played Othello once in real life. And so I would like to ask you, how hard would it be to teach a computer how to play something that you've never learned before? And the answer is actually very simple. And so artificial intelligence is all about taking a lot of information and presenting it to a computer and having that computer make a conclusion. And artificial intelligence isn't just about teaching a computer how to play a game like Othello or chess or Jeopardy. It's about applying it in the real world. So like Google's smart cars, or Netflix's movie recommendations, or Siri's voice recognition software. And one of the most important applications of artificial intelligence is in medicine, in saving lives. Consider the human genome. It's 3 billion base pairs long and consisting of A's, C's, T's, and G's. Now, there's a lot of natural variation in this data set. If you take my genome and compare it to anyone else in the audience, you'll see that we have 99.5% of our genome in common, which means that we have 15 million base pairs that are different. Now, I wouldn't want to go sifting through all of these base pairs, but that's a task that is actually being dealt with today. What are these 15 million base pairs? Which one makes me more predisposed for a genetic disorder than the general population? That's what artificial intelligence researchers are trying to answer today. So consider this researcher. He has a database of thousands of patients, their genomes, and their medical diagnoses. Now, given a pencil and paper and all of the time in the world, anyone could sit and compare each genome to each other and then look for the differences that are common against all of these different disorders. But nobody has all the time in the world, and it would be a pain to write this all down. So what do we turn to? We turn to computers, because computers offer us a lot of valuable information that wouldn't be possible just 15, 20 years ago. So there is a better way. It's artificial intelligence, and specifically, computational pathology. Computational pathology involves taking raw medical data, whether that be laboratory data or images, and taking that information, presenting it to a computer, and getting a diagnosis. And so computational pathology is advantageous for a few reasons. And the first one is that computers are very objective, meaning that if you give them a certain data, no matter what the conditions are, they will always give you the same output. It's not like humans who get tired after sifting through many patients. Computers are also very time efficient. So in the time it could take a human doctor to diagnose 10 patients, a computer could diagnose thousands of patients. And these are the two reasons that make computational pathology and computer-aided diagnosis very applicable in the real world. This means in developing countries or rural areas where patients don't have access to a doctor or a diagnosis, computers could be used in their place. And finally, one of the most unique things about computational pathology and artificial intelligence in general is that it requires no special equipment other than a reasonably capable computer. And a lot of the software is online and open source, meaning that it's free. And it allows high school students like myself to be able to teach a computer to do something that we don't know how to do well ourselves. It allows high school students to make a difference in the world, however small, and continue to build on that difference in our careers. And so my own research in this field involves finding a quicker, cheaper, and more accurate way to diagnose diabetic retinopathy. Diabetic retinopathy is a condition in which high blood sugar from diabetes damages the blood vessels in the retina. It's actually one of the hardest diseases to diagnose in its early stages. So I can show you a little why it's so hard to diagnose. Consider these two images. And these are images of actual patients' retinas. And I can tell you that one of the images is diabetic retinopathy positive, and one is diabetic retinopathy negative. To me, besides the color, I don't see any difference. And to the untrained eye, there is no difference. But there are very small differences, such as microaneurysms or hemorrhages, that are present in one of these images. And that's what makes the image diabetic retinopathy positive. And that's why diabetic retinopathy is so hard to diagnose, because of these small changes. It's the leading cause of preventable blindness in the world. That's also why it's so perfect for computer-aided diagnosis, because computers can easily have the computational power to be able to look for all those small changes, changes that it would take a human doctor hours to find. And so my team and I use one of the most innovative developments in artificial intelligence technology today, artificial neural networks. Neural networks are kind of like the human brain in that they take nodes, or neurons, connect them together, and through millions of these neurons, you eventually reach one output, a diagnosis. And so in this diagram, you can see that there are a lot of different parallels between the human brain, the way the human brain processes information, and the way an artificial neural network processes information. So I would like to conclude this talk by talking about the future I envision for artificial intelligence. I envision a future of advancements in computational pathology, a future where a diagnosis is available to anybody, regardless of where they live, the availability of doctors, money, or even electricity. I envision a future where patients will know definitively what genetic disorders that they are predisposed for and can take charge of their own future. I envision a future in which we can save lives. Thank you.